Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishwaro Guratmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyo Mabda Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Savavedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satguru Pranatoshmaham Om Om Shanti 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 Namaste Om Shwara verse 19 I see you as one who has no beginning, no middle, no end. We haven't seen this verse yet, no? Who has limitless power, who has countless arms, who holds eyes at the moon and the sun, whose mouth is the blazing fire, and who scorched this universe with your radiance. There is it's packed with symbolism there. So, who would like to read a little bit about this symbolic verse here to help me out?
Do it, Mark.
Okay, I was waiting for you to volunteer, Lynn. Okay, I'll do it. No problem. Okay. So based on this only, a great Sanskrit poet, great scholar, he was extremely poor. Generally, where Sarasvati is there, generally Lakshmi does not go along with her. There seems to be some tiff between them. So this person is a great scholar. Saravati is there. Lakshmi, money, is not there. So he was wearing only rags, tattered clothes, and being poet, everything he can put forth, he can put in verse form. He was looking at the tattered rags and was chanting this verse. Can you translate that, Lynn?
That says, he who's out without beginning, a middle or end, the ancient one who, I bow to the one who is without a second. I bow to Hari, who is like my clothes, tattered, I suppose.
Okay, it's a it's a similar concept of the initial of this verse, the first paragraph or phrase here. So it is. Let me just turn off this one here. Sorry. So it's nice. It's I understood the concept. So go ahead, please, Mark. I offer my prostration.
Okay. I offer my prostrations to the Lord, who is comparable to my clothes. How his cloth and Lord can be compared. He says, Adimayanta Rai Hatimham, being tattered rags, you cannot find out which is the beginning, middle, or end. The word dasa has two meanings. One is the end of the cloth is called dasa, and the various conditions like old age, disease, etc. is also called dasa, or even astrological Sani dasa, Rahu dasa, that is dasa. So this poet says, my cloth is also dasa, hinam. Everything is torn, and Lord is dasa hinam. He does not have any dasa, Sani Rahu dasa. You are also dasa hinam, O Lord, and my dress is also dasa hinam. Puratanam, my dress is also the most ancient one, and O Lord, you are Puratanaha. Then Advitiyam, matchless, you are also matchless, and you can never find a cloth like mine. Advitiyam aham vande, Madhavastra Sadrasam Harim, the Lord who is like my Vastram. To that Lord I prostrate. Namaskara. Anyway, that is a different thing. Here, Anadi Madahai and you are the Lord of infinite power and omnipotent, by which you are able to create this universe itself. Then, Anatam Tambahal Huam, with endless hands or arms. Here also you should remember, do not imagine one God standing with countless hands hanging all over. That is not the picture. The idea is what? All the hands belonging to all the people really belong to the Lord alone, and therefore all the hands that I see are Bhagavan's hands. Then, Sasi Suryan Itram, an important one. O Lord, your eyes are nothing but the sun and the moon. Sasi means moon. Sura means sun. Because eyes are capable of making things visible, known, because of the eyes alone, things are visible. And similarly, because of the sun and moon alone, the world during the day becomes visible. And therefore, for me, these are the eyes, for the Vishwarupa sun, and the moon are the eyes. And from this, it becomes very clear that Vishwarupa is not again another form. It is not a special form which appeared in front, but Vishwarupa is what? The very universe itself, for which the sun and the moon are the illuminating principles. Not only that, if you remember Tattva Bodha, there we mentioned that every sense organ has got a presiding deity. Every sense organ has got a presiding deity. For example, what is the presiding deity of the eyes? Kaksusaya Surya. And since the sun is the presiding deity for the eyes, the sun becomes the eye of the Lord. So therefore, the approach is what? Whatever is the presiding deity of my organ, that presiding deity becomes the organ of the Lord. So, Rasanahaya Varuna Devata is the presiding deity of the tasting tongue, and Varuna becomes the tongue of the Lord. So therefore, it is said that Surya is the eye of the Lord. Okay, it should say here it is said, I think. And the next one also you can see. Agni, or the fire Devata, Agni Devata, is the mouth of the Lord. And why do we say Agni is the mouth of the Lord? Two reasons. First reason, in Tattva Bodha, we have seen Vacha Devata Vanhi. I do not know whether you remember. Vacha Devata Vahini, presiding deity of the Vag Indram, is Agni Devata. Therefore, Agni Devata becomes the mouth of the Lord. This is one reason. And the second reason is what? Mouth swallows everything. Whatever you put in the mouth, it just disappears. Therefore, it is a great swallower of the oblations you put all the time, right from the morning. Just as the mouth swallows everything, Agni, the fire principle, also swallows everything, especially during the rituals. Therefore, Agni becomes the mouth of the Lord. And we are going to focus on the fiery mouth of the Lord. Hold on. And we are going to focus the fiery mouth of the Lord aside. We will bring this topic again. And therefore, Arjuna says, O Lord, I am looking at your mouth, which is nothing but fire. So Vaktram means mouth, and Hutasa means fire. It is called Hutasa, means Hutam, Asnati, Iti, Hutasa, that which consumes all oblations. Hutam means oblations. Asa means the consumer of oblations. And that too, what type of Agni? Dipat Uttasa, Dipta means well kindled. It's become a huge conflagration. This huge conflagration of fire is your mouth, ever ready to take any number of things, ready to swallow anything. And that mouth also I am seeing. And when Arjuna sees the fiery mouth of the Lord, and therefore he is frightened, and therefore turns his eyes away, he closes his eyes, because if you see, it is frightening. Not only that, the fire is so huge, the fiery mouth is so big that it scorches the whole universe with its radiation. So Arjuna says, with its radiation, with its heat. Vasvanidam tapantam. It is scorching the earth. Do not we feel the heat of the sun, even during the night, after the sunset? Remember that belongs to the sun, the Lord. The fire and the sun belongs to the Lord. We will see in the 15th chapter, I am the light, fire and the sun, and how much heat has it got? Not only daytime, even now. Those who are not under the fan and those who are not under, they will feel the heat, scorching heat of the sun, which is 9 crore miles away, which has already set, and even after we are still feeling. And what is that? Vishwarupa you are experiencing. Therefore, whenever you are feeling the discomfort caused by humidity, describe, O Lord, I am instantly experiencing the Vishwarupa. Then you would not complain. Show, you would not say. And imagine the power goes. A few days before it happened, and you can see the people running here and there. It's already 10 o'clock and AC is not working, fan is not working. Therefore firing the TNEB, all those things. Why? Because Vishwarupa, I cannot withstand. But if you make an attitudinal change, you experience divinity. Okay, so Savat Te Jasa Vismedaham Tapatam.
So just a small, what do you say?
Comment.
Small note. Yeah, comment. It's Swami is pointing out to the fact that everything is an expression of the Lord, symbolized as the eyes and the five senses, because the five senses they develop by the presiding devatas, which are the five elements, subtle elements. So the elements they just bring the construct of the five senses of the human jiva, so that we can enjoy and appreciate the elements. So the elements are symbols of Ishvara, big, and very beautiful. And we receive Ishvara through the five senses, as we have seen here. But a lot of the time we reject it because it's too cold, it's too hot, it is too intense. If we look in terms of the five senses, it's too peppery, the food and so on. It's too dry, the touch and so on. So, and he's saying that again, we go back to we need to go through this understanding to promote an attitudinal change, so that we have something that is often referred to as vairagya, the ability to accept things as they are. When there is winter, it's very cold. When there is, summer, it's very hot. Depending on where we stand, the heat and the humidity then in south of India may be really uncomfortable. But we need to remember those things with any kind of experience that somehow brings discomfort. It's one of another angle to see that we have to take the Lord as prasada, howsoever it manifests itself. Now we are seeing not only the parabada as prasada, but the prasada is the Lord. It's not that my karma is the prasada of the Lord, but It is the Lord itself presenting me with whatsoever uncomfortable situation. So this is something that requires a profound vision, development of this vision, this darshan, to the point of having this change of attitude, to see things as the Lord in its divinity, in its glory, and so on.
Mm.
Okay.
It's very hard. It's very hard to see these things. And so I guess what you really have to do is even go beyond having it be outside yourself to say that it's all within me. And therefore it can't be frightening.
So you are going from the triangular approach to the binary approach. I'm such everything is media.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So, but in the triangular approach or model, we
It's
have
tough.
huh?
It's tough.
It
Yeah.
is tough. It's tough, but I mean, because what is tough to begin with? Anything that does not conform with our likes and dislikes is tough. And that's why Vedanta puts up there the first qualification is discernment or discrimination, and the second is vairagya, you know, the ability to handle things that you don't like with a sense of prasada. It's the Lord present itself. All opposite pairs are present to us, and this wisdom, this vision, this knowledge allows us to take it with equanimity, with vairagya, with we conform to the situation, we accept the situation. Remember that what has come up to me, it's not that the situation is prasad of the Lord. The situation is the Lord itself, like the
There you
heat.
go.
You know,
Mm. Mm.
that's something that the Lord is greeting us. Now is the Lord itself. Manifest as howsoever it is, whether it is in conformity with our likes. So life is nothing but a process by which we learn to take things as they come without demanding that things should be our way. This is spiritual maturity.
Maturity.
Mm. Yeah. And once we know that, if we've got bhakti for the Lord, then we should have love for every situation.
Yeah,
No
we,
matter.
we grow. We grow. I mean, if otherwise Vedanta would stand as a philosophy without any real transformational value to it. The transformation comes with the assimilation of the knowledge to the extent that we develop vairagya. We accept that cannot be changed. No, but we could have air condition everywhere. I was in Singapore, and there at the time, many years back, I was young, so they had air conditioning everywhere. They are right there on the line of the Ecuador. The heat there is unbearable, but everywhere, the train station, the subway, every car, every bus packed with air condition. They have a lot of money. They used to have a lot of resource, and so I mean to say, but not every place is like that. Why people go to India? They have to suffer that heat like I did suffer for so long. Why? Because I don't want things that makes me comfort my five senses comfortable, but I want to get some wisdom that frees me from from the need to have every experience of life conforming my rugged Vesha. This is transcending the opposite pair of every circumstance.
Yeah.
Go
I'll
ahead.
read for, but Arlindo, do you want to discuss the verse?
The verse we did not come to the end yet, have we?
We're on
We're just
20.
about to.
Huh?
Yeah.
We did?
No, we're just going to do verse 20 now.
Okay, we already went through the 19th. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm seeing because there is a lot of symbolism. As you know, the symbolism comes from the Puranas and other texts. I'm not very familiar with this Vedic symbolism, but we can see here now Arjuna was seeing the Lord. Just a moment, let me change the color here. Arjuna was seeing the Lord. When you see the Lord as Vishvarupa, when you have this vision, and then the Lord has no beginning, because we are talking about Vishvarupa is a darshan, a vision of the Lord. So the Lord is not contained in any temple, is not contained in any deity, limit by any deity or any group of Namarupas, such as I see the Lord only as United States of America. So no, the Lord is everything. And then even in terms of this manifestation, you see the Lord as beginning, middle, and end. You know, so something that has no beginning, middle, and end, and this here is more in terms of spatial. Space. No beginning because we have limitlessness in terms of time and space. So here you see the Lord Vishvarupa, and then I don't see where it begins, where it ends. I don't see therefore the middle. And then I see the power which holding it because projects is there, but there is enormous power to project and sustain it. And then he says, and then he goes into those more simple like he sees that every human arm is the arm of the Lord. Every human body is the body of the Lord. It's a symbol of the Lord, the Vishwara, with thousands of arms, many heads, and this and that. It's just a symbolism saying that every arm. I mean, my arm is the arm of the leg. How about yours? Mark? I mean, I
Mine
did not.
also. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not buy. I did not produce it. So everything belongs to Shwara. That's what it means. Everything belongs to Shwara. We don't know how to produce and how to sustain it. So, and that is the understanding to see that everything is Ishvara. And then he brings the eyes. When he brings to the eyes here, we could say like every human being has one eye, two eyes. It's the eyes of the Lord. Why? Because the eyes of the Lord are developed from the presiding deity, which is fire. So Ishvara brought about elements, and then when it came to the fire, it produced a lot of luminosity. And then the fire is going to be the deity presiding the development of our visions. The visions, the sense of the vision, this channel develops from the fire. So we could say every eyes is the eyes of the Lord. But here it presents another element to it is that the eyes we have here they were born out of the fire, which is to our vision. The fire presents us luminosity. How does luminosity about? It comes as the sun during the day and the moon shining, more gently during the night. So we have two sources of light, which beautifully, symbolically is said that I see your both eyes. Which are the both eyes of the Lord? I thought it was limitless eyes, all human eyes, all other creatures' eyes. He said, no, it's the moon and the sun, because the moon and the sun is the luminosity that brings the birth of all eyes of all kinds of jivas from all kinds of realms. I mean, animal realm and human realm. So everybody has an eye because of the light, and the light comes from the sun and it comes from the reflection of the sunlight on the moon. And then it's another twist. So this is the eyes. Fundamentally, every one of our eyes was born out of the light of the Lord, which comes from the sun, from the moon. And then he goes and talks about the mouth of the Lord as pure fire. So why it is fire? There are different angles that Swami has presented some. So we know that the digestion system of ours, it contains an energy which is going to consume any I would say food. Okay, so any food is consumed in the fire of our digestive acids. It's a kind of fire that consumes to transform into nutrients for the physical body and energy for the subtle body, for the pranas and everything. So the Lord does all of that, and the Lord has this mouth which is blazing fire. So we could say that the Lord is sustaining us through this fire of the digestive system. But here it presents as the fire to whom, to what all the oblations, all the rituals are giving, because in India they have the symbol of the fire behind most of rituals, you know. So everything is given to the fire of the Lord. Okay, the fire is that which consumes everything. It brings about, you know, the the jiva, which the vision possibility and so on, and then it produced the inner fire within our digestive system, and it's the outer fire is that to which everything goes back to ashes again. So, and that's why I was mentioning that all oblations are given to the fire, and the fire is that which puts an end to everything, so to speak, brings everything symbolic to ashes, who scorched this universe with the radiance. So it's much around the fire as this element that brings about, our visions and brings about our digestion system. And so it's more or less on those lines. Let me see what else Swamiji said here. So there was a passage talking about arms, and there was a part talking about the symbolism of the clothes of the poet, because if you have a cloth that is all broken into pieces, you cannot figure out where it begins and where it ends. And that is another way for somebody creates a poet that is almost to the point of madness, to see the God and to see the parallel, to see the analogy. Here in my clothes, I cannot see any beginning, middle, and end. It's everything torn apart and so on. So they're wearing only rags, tattered clothes. Therefore, the clothes is another symbol of the Lord, without beginning, middle, and end. So, and then when you talk about your infinite power, so we know that in order for Ishvara to project and sustain this meteor universe, it requires tremendous amounts of power, of intelligence, of knowledge. That's why it says omnipotent, omniscient, and then the symbolism of the hands and the arms again. We already addressed that. And again, the hands and the arms, they all belong to Shwara. Everything belongs to Shwara. It's easier for us to keep that vision, that darshana, when we are, for example, in Tiruvannamalai, because this devotional attitude is expressing in the very lifestyle there, because everything is a symbol of the Lord, and you see people doing some namaskara here, doing some little thing there, I mean, you see it all around you. In the beginning, it's overwhelming. You think like, wow, this is the most religious place in the world. So, so, oh Lord, your eyes are nothing but the sun and the moon. So we have seen that. The sun and moon around the world and then we can see what we can see through the eyes. The eyes is a byproduct of the fire element. Therefore, my eyes is an expression of the Lord as well. So when I see everybody's eyes around me, I'm seeing the eyes of the Lord. The babies born out of the fire, which is this element provided by the Lord, one of the five elements. The illuminator, the illuminating principle that can allow us to trace this light back to its source, which is the light of consciousness, the pramana behind the fire, which is light, which is a means by which we see things in our environment. But we need to go by stages until we can trace back everything to Ishwara, and from Ishwara to Brahman consciousness, the light of consciousness, which is the one fundamental principle that illumines and reveals everything. Reveals first the sun and the moon, and then of the very Jiva Atma in its construct. So that the eyes of the Jiva, which was born out of the sun, the sunlight, can see its environment. So we have two pramanas. The eye is pramana. Luminosity coming from the sun is a pramana, but the ultimate pramana is consciousness that reveals the Jiva Atma. The Jiva Atma is the experience knowing entity. Everything here it was build up for the Jiva Atma. That's the most important thing, because what would be the value or the purpose of having all of that if there is no Jiva Atma there through its five senses to capture the splendor of this universe, this explosion of Namarupas. So, if we remember Tattva Bodha, it was mentioned that every sense organ has got a presiding deity. Every one of us, our sense organ, he has a presiding deity. For example, for tasting, we have Varuna, the tongue of the Lord. So I have my palate. I have my tongue, and in fact, the taste we get in the upper side of our mouth together with the tongue. But this tasting mechanism we call the palate, or the tongue, in most a simple way to put it, is the instrument of the Lord, because everything is Ishwara giving us those systems, those means by which we experience and get to know the Lord. That's the important to understand the Lord. That's why we need to pass by Saguneshwar. I was driving here with my employee, and his mother is in very bad shape, doing hemodialysis and so on. And she has abused very, very ignorantly of eating all kinds of sugars and this and that. She destroyed her how you say, the huh?
Pancreas, I was going to say, but not sure.
No, the two, Sylvia? The two what? Tube is not paying attention. So we have the liver and we have the kidneys. So she destroy on kidneys doing just engaging or just want to enjoy the pleasure of all kinds of sugary things, and then drinking Coca-Colas and Fantas and all these sugary things. So in the United States, a lot of people do dialysis because of that, because they never drink water. They only drink cold drinks full of sugar and caffeine. So Varuna is the presiding deity for our our palate, and this system by which we taste uh, the the flavors of food. So of course we're going to develop raga dvesha, and then if we don't have enough discrimination, we get caught up drinking cold drinks the rest of our lives because we got hooked with sugary things. So the Lord is giving that to us, and we are wasting it. We are destroying it. Yeah, destroying the body, destroying the organs inside. Yeah? So through a simple gift, which was the tongue. So what I mean to say is that before we go into resolving, resolving every human experience into Nirguna Atma, we need to get to know, get to understand Ishvara, in all its manifestations, all these symbols, like the five elements, so that we can value everything that was given to us as a gift, such as my palate. So it's a gift. So my vision, my hearing capacity, everything is given. Who gave this one? It is said that it was given by the element air. You understand? Now air gives us the touch. This one was given by space. You understand? So there is a deity behind every one of our sense organs. And if we would have a better educational system, we would value better. But an education system so that allows us to value that has to be a religious educational system. We live in society that are totally materialistic and atheistic. And the most they say, no, no, this is just matter. Out of matter, the brain and the body comes out. There is no God involved in any of these. There is no creator. Creation happens by accident. How so? By matter. You know, the body, mind, and the mind. The body, mind, meaning to say the physical body and the mind of the jiva is a byproduct of inert matter. Everybody looks from that angle. Therefore, the concept of God does not arise. But if we understand that all of Jesus prasada, all of Jesus is a gift, and then you start understanding all of that, and then we develop that that quality, that attitudinal quality of devotion, of appreciation, of reverence, which refines us so that we can be successful in discriminating. I am Satya and everything else is Mithya, But our ignorance has to get the knowledge of Sagunishwara so that it can be refined and purified so that we can get the knowledge in respect to the true nature of Sagunishwara as Nirguna Ishwara, which is identical to our nature as well as Saguna or Nirguna Atma. So it has to go by stage. So here we see the tongue and likewise all other sense organs. They are not only gifts of the Lord, but it is the Lord. The Lord is the father and the mother of each one of these pramanas we have. Those five channels by which we can apprehend the world from these five different angles. The next one here is the fire. We have seen this. Agni Devata is the mouth of the Lord. So the fire, we can see the fire as the mouth. The mouth destroys everything. We know that because we put it in our mouth, it destroys. But it's the mouse by itself does not produce a digestion. Here, Swami did not go into the fact because he says you must remember that the body is the fire coming from our digestive acids that are going to destroy the food. The mouse just throw it down, yeah? And then later on, the fire of the Lord in our digestion system is going to convert food into nutrients for the physical body and the subtle body. Therefore, the presiding deity of our digestion is fire, Agni Devata. Therefore, Agni Deva here is represented for as the mouth of the Lord. Okay? Because every mouth of every creature, not only human creatures, everyone is just an entry that takes things into digestion space in which the fire of the Lord, certain acids are going to do the magic of converting physical matter into physical and subtle nutrition. This is one reason. The second reason is why the mouth swallows everything. Whatever is put in the mouth, it disappears. Therefore, it's a great swallow. So we say fundamentally, all these small mouths of ours that somehow makes things disappear, burning it all into our digestion system. Yeah? So it is everyone's mouth put together is the mouth of the Lord, because fundamentally, the Lord as the destroyer is that which swallows everything at the end. Yeah? It produces everything and then it swallows everything at the end. Then Swami here reminds us that during the rituals, the fire becomes a symbol of the mouth of the Lord. We are going to focus the fiery mouth of the Lord outside because we're going to see it in the near future again. Therefore, so the next verse he may elaborate on this Agni Deva. Arjuna says, "Oh Lord, I'm looking at your mouth, which is nothing but fire." And Hutasa means fire. The consumer of all rituals and oblations, because everything in the Vedic culture, no, the ritualistic culture, is presented to the Lord as an oblation, no? And it goes into something that is symbolized as the mouth of the Lord. It's going to consume all oblation. If he's satisfied, he's going to give back punya to one's devotee. This one, what kind of fire? Jipta means well kindled. What is well kindled? Is a big fire.
It's a fire which is, yeah, a fire which is already burning well. It's started and it's in its full conflagration, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. It has to be a huge fire. And this takes us to the fire of Mumukshutva, yeah? Which is a good representation for Mumukshutva. This desire for spiritual development or elevation or self-knowledge is like a fire in the beginning. It's weak and can be blown off very easily with certain distractions here and there. Yeah? But once it becomes huge, yeah, and then that mumukshvata is unstoppable. It grows and grows and grows. Yeah? I think we spoke about that the other day in respect to something that Lynn was saying. Yeah? That it must grow, and it grows with time. This huge conflagration, this is maturity, this is spiritual preparedness, this is mumukshutva. So huge conflagration fire is your mouth. So he's referring to the mouth of the Lord. Ever ready to take any number of things. Arjuna sees the fiery mouths of the Lord and this huge conflagration of fire, and he gets a little bit frightened. Therefore, he turns his eyes away from the mouths. Why? This is going to come more clearly later on. Because it is in the mouths of the Lord, this symbol of the mouths, that which swallows and destroys everything, is where he starts seeing his beloved relatives and grandfather being crushed in the mouths of the Lord. So
Mm.
he's frightened in seeing that. He closed his eyes because of that. The fire is huge and it's burning and consuming everyone. And it's a fact, it consumes everyone. The whole universe with its radiation. Radiation is going to consume. So Arjuna says, with its radiation, with your heat, it is scorching the earth. Do not we feel the heat of the sun even during the night. This is so much so. Living in Lucknow, especially, we lived quite some time in Lucknow, in the northern part of India. There it was like that. In the winter was cold, but in the summer it was more difficult than Tiruvannamalai. Tiruvannamalai we had more humidity. In uh, in, in Lucknow near Delhi, it was a dry season, but the dry heat at the peak of the summer used to go to 47 degrees Celsius. It was so hot, so hot, so hot that the houses were made with very small windows, so to try to stop the sun to enter, and all kinds of curtains and things, water running outside so that the sun in that small window hits the curtain, a special curtain that with running water and evaporates rather than passing the heat through the window and to the inside of the house. But it was crazy. So at 10 in the evening or 11 in the evening, we could not go to bed. So it was the most common thing. Nobody would show up outside of the house before 5 or 6 p.m. because it was so hot. And then later on, nobody could sleep because the house were just like the heat was unbearable. Just to give an idea, it was a common practice to get buckets of water and throw on the floor at the house all the time because then the heat was contained in the floor and in the walls would evaporate that water rather than and then would cool down a little bit. Throwing water, waking up in the night to throw more water in the house, in the living room, common practice. So we used to walk at 10, 11 in the night on the streets nearby. There are a lot of people walking because nobody could handle stay inside. And then you see that heat, but the heat, the radiation of the heat coming from the ground, but so unbearable. You know, it was incredible austerity sadhana to stay like now during the summer. The first summer we stayed there, we were thinking twice, and then we say, okay, if some people manage, so we will cross the summer here. We did it a couple of times, and so it is what it is. Why we went there? Because somehow there was something else there available in the presence of the guru that was worthwhile, worthwhile the discomfort. The scorching coming from the ground. Do not feel the heat of the sun even during the night after sunset. See, yes, that's why I remember this. Remember that belongs to the sun, that heat that was contained in the ground. That belongs to the Lord. The heat is the Lord. So don't complain on the heat. It's the Lord present to you. And even if it does not it's not a great lesson, but it can help you to exhaust some papakama, to cross a summer, a dry summer in Lucknow. That heat belongs to the Lord. That heat is the Lord. We will see in the 15th chapter, I am the light. the fire of the sun and how much heat it has got. The sun has amazing amount of radiation, even now. And then Swami describes, if you have a fan, you may survive a little bit, but you can't sleep because, like now, even with the fan, you would wake up again and again. So another details of how we used to cross the summer there, not only throwing water on the floor all over the whole house in the night, but getting up every 1 or 2 hours, getting your bed sheet, put it in a bucket of water, and then bring it to your mattress, totally wet, wetting the mattress, wetting the thing, and then another bed sheet, a cover, you put in water and it come with that drop in water, and then you put the water over you, the blank, the bed sheet, and the bed sheet is wet. And guess what? After 1, 2 hours, it was all dry. You had to do the same ritual again.
Wow.
All of that was an experience of Ishvara, manifesting as the scorching heat of fire. Whenever you are feeling the discomfort caused by the heat, humidity, remember, this is the Lord. I am intimately experiencing the Vishvarupa, this Lord manifests as the elements. So I did not have this understanding, I did not have this vision, but somehow we said, no, we want to be here in spite of all this discomfort. We could come out of the house to do some shopping during these 3 months of extreme heat, only 5, 6 p.m. And we all moved with lambretas or motorcycle. And then you have to put uh, a lot of cloths all over and just leave a little bit here for the sun, for the eyes to see because the heat of the air was so hot. The air, as you go by motorcycle, you hit the hair more like that, the friction burns the skin completely. You have to protect the entire face and here, everything. Just leave a little bit. It's unbearable, it's unbelievable. But I'm not complaining. I was not complaining. I was enjoying. I did not know that I was dealing with Vishwarupa Ishwara, but I was happy to be there somehow. A few days without this sun shining, then like now, and then life would be over. And Swami is describing more here. You can see the people running here and there. It's already 10 o'clock and AC is not working, fan is not working. They go crazy. Therefore, firing, all because of the Lord. I cannot withstand, but if you make this attitudinal transformation, you will be able to handle it much better because you will take it as prasada, as the Lord, as the fire of the Lord, and so on. Of course, you don't need to stay in a situation like that forever. If you have financial means, you say, okay, I'm going to do like the old kings in India. They had so much money, they have 4 castles, each one for a season of the year. So they would be in total comfort. He would avoid the monsoon, the extreme summer, the extreme this with different castles. But otherwise, you just accept, no, it is my parameter. I was born here. I was born poor. I cannot escape. I don't have an apartment on every corner of India. So I have to accept this. My somebody sent me a little video of a baby being born in Brazil. And then when they come, the baby like that, the baby, and nowadays with the computer, they can make anything. This little baby start calling and talking, and then he says, "Oh, did I hear it well? A public hospital. Brazilian public hospital is very precarious. Huh? It's Brazilian. Did I hear? I'm in a public hospital. holy shit, I was born very poor again. I was reborn poor again in a public hospital. Very funny. But, we have to say, okay, I was born in this condition, but I was born with a spiritual vasana. I was born with this impulse and desire to grow spiritually, you know, which is the highest possible vasana, the most elevated punya you can have is a desire for self-knowledge and freedom from samsara. And we need to pass by this vision, understanding that all is coming to the Lord, through the Lord, from the Lord. Everything is the Lord, everything is Ishwar. In simple words, I used to present to my people in Brazil that our raga vesha, our ego, our likes, it has to be properly resolved in Saguna Ishwara before it can really be properly dissolved in Nirguna Ishwara.
Mm.
You have to understand Sagunishwara, and then the ego is going to take its proper place and is going to begin a proper relationship with the Lord. Is going to understand the Ishwara system, the karmic system, and so on, and then is going to develop vairagya, patience, humility, reverence, devotion, and then it's easier to later on to finally resolve the ego into consciousness, Nirguna consciousness, Nirguna Brahman. You understand? Because now resolving the ego into Saguna was the intermediate stage that prepared the ego, refine the ego so that he can resolve itself in Nirguna Brahman. Does it make any sense, Lynn?
Makes perfect sense. It's Swami Dayananda or Paramartha, I can't remember, says settling accounts with Ishwara. It's
Yeah.
like everything is owed.
Yeah.
So just give it.
Exactly. Yeah. This is a religious, but that's why Vedanta says you cannot get to self-knowledge without being a religious, spiritual person. If you want to skip religious, our tradition says it does not work. Okay, thank you for reminding and asking me to go around. I thought first that we haven't finished everything, but furthermore, I was a little bit lazy to do my job, and thank you for you calling me into that.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Arlindo, because before I started learning with you, uh, I didn't have that religious attitude. I was the typical Western, been there, done that, forget religion. But it's
Yeah,
been a wonderful gift. Can't thank you enough.
yeah. And a lot of people comes to Vedanta for different reasons now, especially in the Western society. They throw away Ishvara, the Creator God, because they have passed through so many religions that do not have a really supporting logic that a more refined intellect could find good sense and so on. I mean, lately I hear people sometimes talking about the scriptures from Christianity and this and that. I don't hear anything with the depths of logic of the Vedas in respect to Ishvara system in the relationship between the Jiva and Ishvara. So people throw away the babe with the dirt water, as we say. You need to keep the babe, throw away the water, and then the baby will grow. Okay, Mark, we meet again this coming Monday,
Right.
beginning on the chapter 20. Namaste. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Mudachate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishate Om Shanti 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 Om Om Shwara. Lena, once again, thank you for, you know, your remark calling me to to comment on the verse. Namaste.
Thank you, Arlindo. Have a wonderful birthday. And is
Yeah.
it
Thank you.
tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah. I was telling Lena I'm going to be 70. Supposedly it's a
Wow.
round number for the body. It came up to 70. Let's see.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
It's
Well
always
You
done,
have a
good.
ways,
Arlindo.
yeah, you have a ways to catch up to me, I must say.
How old are you, if you don't mind?
77.
77.
Oh, looking
I
great, Lynn.
remember, I remember when you told me 76. Why didn't you stop there?
Parabda, I guess.
Okay, doke.
Namaste.
Namaste. Bye bye.
Okay, I know.